Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Simply Singapore with your chef, Azlin Bloor. Today, Azlin will be cooking satay. I'm going to turn it over to her right now, and we're going to introduce the audience. Hey, Azlin, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, John. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. We're ready to rock and roll.
Thank you, John.
We're ready there. Start it up, guys.
I think John forgot Larry then.
John, you're doing a fine job there, sir. I'm your co-host, Larry Fenelier, and joining us, let me pick up where John left off. I want to introduce the folks in the Hangout, and we're starting with Andrew M., and he is originally from Canada. We have a pretty international crew here today. Hi, Andrew. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, Larry. How are you? I'm looking forward to the show today and a little bit of cuisine that we're going to have in front of us today. So I am from Toronto, by the way, as well, too. So
okay, Toronto, to be more specific. And that voice, that voice, you in line for an Old Spice commercial or something?
No. Next in line if I can do it.
All right. Next we have is Lisa Watson. Hi, Lisa. Lisa hails from France.
Well, kind of. I live in France. I'm actually from New Zealand. Yeah, I have a cooking blog, Italian Kiwi, because that's what I am. My husband's Italian, and I'm here to watch Azlin cooking satay tonight. Very excited to be here.
Definitely. And next, Lisa, who's also from France, Michelle Rebel. Hi, Michelle.
Hi. Hi, Larry. Hello, folks. My name is Michel. I live in Strasbourg in the northeast of France, just next Germany, you know, France, Germany, okay?
Yes.
So I'm very happy to be with you again. I have a very, very popular blog called Cuisine et Cigars. Of course, on one side you have cooking, cuisine, and cigars. But how are you, Larry, tonight?
I'm doing fine, sir, and it's always a pleasure to have you join us in the audience. So, like John said at the top of the program, Azlin will be doing satay. I know a lot of you guys just in the U.S. just had 4th of July yesterday, and you did your barbecuing. You're probably still doing barbecuing today. So Azlin is going to show you an option where you could barbecue satay, which is actually some Singaporean street food. Well, let's go with the Azlin and let her tell you exactly how it's done and how it got its origin. Hi, Azlin.
Thank you, Larry. Thanks, Larry. My back was getting a little tired there. Anyway, yes, when Larry and I talked about what I'd be cooking today, we thought, okay, 4th of July, we'd have some barbecue food. But, you know, I live in the UK and weather's not been conducive. Yesterday, we were going to have a barbecue. I lit my barbecue. Guess what? Literally 10 seconds later, it started raining. So.
Oh, no.
I thought we better not take the chance. So we're going to do satay, which is really barbecue food. It is. Even in the Far East, it's barbecued over coals and stuff. But I'm going to do it in under the grill or the broiler, as it were. Okay. So we're going to get started straight away. What I've done is rather than show you, rather than chop the onions, garlic, ginger, and all that in front of you, I've done all that and I've marinated the meat. The full recipe is on my blog, and the link to the recipe is on the event page. It's linsfood.com. Go to the home page and you'll see the post. It was up today. So, oh, another thing is, no second camera today, I'm afraid. One of my computers is acting up. So here we go. This is the chicken meat, and this is the beef. Alrighty? And I've had these marinated all night in a mixture of onion, garlic, ginger, coriander, ground cumin, some chili. Not too much chili because the spice comes in the sauce that you're going to be eating it with. Now,
okay. I just have a question, Lynn. Lynn, what cut of beef is it?
Get it there in a minute.
Oh, you're going to be there in a minute. Oh, sorry.
It's all right, don't worry. Yeah, so I'm just going to put this on because otherwise, you know, I'll keep talking and the grill won't be hot enough. Yeah. Now, so the the traditional satay mix will have galangal and lemongrass as well. But these days, more and more people are making do without, just to go for a simple mix. And I know many of you outside of Asia do have trouble getting galangal, dear old galangal. We've had conversations about it lots of times before. Now, with chicken, any cut of the chicken will do. Thighs will be really yummy, but breasts will take on the flavors of the marinade very well as well. As far as the beef is concerned, now we want to go for a tender cut, which is from the middle and the top. So we're talking about sirloin, ribeye, rump, and my personal favorite are the feather steaks. I don't know whether you get them where you are. Do you get them, Lisa, where you are?
No, I don't think so. Michelle, do we get them?
Yep.
Michelle?
Yes, I do.
You do. Okay, cool. Now, so what I'm going to do, what I'm going to show you is the actual putting the meat through the skewers. Now, these are your wooden skewers for satay. Okay, I've had them soaking in there. You want to soak them for about 30 minutes. That's to prevent the skewers from burning up over the charcoal or under the grill. Now, satay, while I'm doing this, let's talk about satay. Where did it come from? Now, I've got lots of people ask me, wow, really? Satay in Singapore? I didn't know that. Satay is really very, very common in most of Southeast Asia. The satay itself originated in Indonesia, in Java, Indonesia. And from there, it traveled to the rest of Southeast Asia. So much so that Singapore, Malaysia, Brunei, Thailand, we consider this local food because it has been like that for years and years. And you can have it as an appetizer, a snack, party food, street food, whatever. Now, one interesting thing is, Richard Wooding isn't here actually because this is quite relevant to him because he's from South Africa. One interesting thing about satay is that it's traveled with the Dutch and the Malays. Now, having originated in Indonesia, the Dutch, of course, Indonesia is a former colony of the Netherlands, and so it went back to the Netherlands, and it went back to other former Dutch colonies, like Larry and I were talking, Suriname, right, Larry?
Yeah, Suriname, which is not too far from where I am. It's right next door to Guyana, and so the influence here in Trinidad, we have satay, based on the Javanese folks that came from the Dutch when the Dutch transmigrated the folks, and they put them in Suriname. I think the population, the Javanese population, there's about 210,000 people in Suriname. So some of them are filtered over to Guyana, and by extension filtered over to the rest of the Caribbean, being Trinidad and up the island. So we do have satay, and we use bamboo spines from the not bamboo, sorry. Yeah, you do use bamboo, but this is coconut leaf spine that we use as skewers. We also have lemongrass that we use as skewers too.
Yeah.
And
lemongrass might be a little bit difficult to sort of go through solid meat, perhaps. Lemongrass is more for maybe minced meat.
Yeah, if it's minced, if the pork is minced or the chicken is minced, we kind of use the lemongrass for that, and just Azlin, just sort of squeeze it over the skewer like that.
So that's what we do basically. Thin slices. You want it to be thin slices because it's a fast, like any barbecue food. It's going to be fast cooked, and you know you want to ensure that it's fully cooked through. Now, what I was going to say, so the Malays who traveled to South Africa took satay along with them. The Malays in South Africa are known as the Cape Malays. It's a shame Richard isn't here today. And the South Africans have their own form of satay called sausage. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that word right. It's S-O-S-A-T-I-E. And the word comes from, it comes from the word satay, S-A-T-E, the old Javanese spelling of satay, and sauce.
You're pronouncing it properly because that's what I saw on Wikipedia.
Actually, I have a friend who comes from Madagascar, and he lives here in France, but he often makes satay as well from Madagascar, but he makes tiny pieces of beef and sticks them on skewers, and then he has a very spicy sauce that goes with them. is fabulous, but it must be somehow related to all that travel of the satay through the world.
Well, yeah.
'Cause they're not far from South Africa. Yeah.
Exactly. And my suggestion as far as cutting the meat, I've got the beef here, I've got them in long strips. I have absolutely no idea why I got them in long strips. But my suggestion is to cut them in sort of that way, an inch.
Yeah, well, that's
long.
Yeah.
Because
That's what he does. Tiny, tiny, tiny little squares. Yeah.
When it's cooked, it's easier to eat,
Yeah.
essentially. So there we go. They're all skewered through now. All we're going to do is grill them. When you're barbecuing, easy enough, you know, just like a regular barbecue. When you're grilling them, you want them to be quite high up, high heat, because you want it to brown, you want it to char, and you want it to cook quickly without the meat actually drying out. So I've got, I've made a few sticks here. So I'm just going to go that way and wash my hands.
Yeah, while you're doing that, Azlin, there's some folks in the stream who have some comments. I want to thank Christopher Vogelman, the crazy guy, my buddy, for chiming in. Gloria Franco Reynolds, Yvonne Rivero, Elena Bellamotti. Chris is on a roll today.
Yay, Yvonne made it to a live show. Hurrah!
Yeah. Andrew, you want to, while Azlin is putting the stuff into the grill, you want to see who's commenting? Any questions for Azlin, as a matter?
Hi, Gloria.
We're having a little bit of an issue here seeing those questions at the moment, Larry, actually.
Okay, that's all right. Let me pull.
All right. So I've got them here. I'm just going to show everybody. I've got the skewered meat there, and I'm just going to put it under the grill, and I need to keep an eye on this. And let's hope my fire alarm doesn't go off.
Okay.
I have an ultra-sensitive fire alarm just outside my kitchen door, and you know it's crazy. So anyway, questions?
Yeah, I'm having a little problem posting it up here in the Hangout also. But Christopher Vogelman asked, how charred should the meat be, Azlin?
Oh, really, you know, sort of standard barbecue. I mean, when you do it on sort of actual barbecue, what do you call those metal thingies? Grate, whatever.
Grills, yes.
Grills, yeah.
So you have these lines which really create a lovely charred flavor, which you're not going to get too much this way. So, you know, I'd say to your satisfaction, really, Christopher. Sorry, just using your word and Chef Dennis's word there. Yeah, so that's up to you. So now what we're going to do is we need some basting, is that the right word? Liquid, and I'm going to mix some coconut milk and a little bit of cooking oil. Mix it up. And that's what I'm going to just be brushing the meat with every so often, just to, you know, add flavor and for it not to dry out too much. So while the meat is cooking, we are going to go on to the sauce. And the peanut sauce. Okay, simple, really simple. Now, we've got roasted peanuts. So all you're going to do is dry roast some peanuts. And you're going to cook it with some spices, similar sort of spices. And
as you're setting up, Azlin, as I know some friends are sensitive to peanuts and peanut allergies, are there any alternatives you can recommend to use instead of peanut-based ingredients?
Yes, actually, interestingly enough, one of my friends, Krishna Day from G+, said she doesn't like, she's not that she's allergic, she doesn't like peanuts. So we talked about trying to make the sauce with cashew nuts or macadamia nuts. But yesterday, when I had an hour to spare, I thought those two might be a little bit too creamy, so I went for hazelnuts, which are, you know, slightly deeper in flavor and more woody. And I made some satay sauce with hazelnuts.
Did it work?
And what about almonds?
And this is the result here. So, you know, it comes out looking just like the peanut satay sauce, as you can see.
Oh, yeah.
There we are.
Yummy.
Yeah, sorry about the lack of camera. And yeah, so hazelnuts would be the best bet because I think it's the closest in taste to peanuts. So if anyone's allergic to peanuts, hazelnuts would be a good bet. But you know, that's not to say that you can't use cashew nuts and macadamia nuts, and perhaps even almonds if you are so inclined. So there we go. It doesn't really need much. Okay, so we're going to do this dry roast. If you've got loads, and if you're making loads, you are going to want lots of peanuts. Just do it in the oven. Spread it on a baking sheet. 10 minutes, about 180 degrees Celsius. What is that in Fahrenheit? Anybody?
350.
Yeah?
350 degrees.
Okay, all righty. So we're going to dry toast this, and then we're going to pulse it. Now, cheats way of making peanut satay sauce, satay peanut sauce, one or the other, is using peanut butter. Just use peanut butter. Even my granny used to use peanut butter because it was much easier than, you know, having to toast your own peanuts and chop them up.
But I assume those peanuts that you're toasting there or roasting, whatever you're doing with them, are non-salted, right?
Yes, definitely non-salted.
Whereas peanut butter has lots of salt in.
Yeah, you can buy them ready toasted here anyway. You can buy them ready toasted, unsalted, which these are actually, but they're not that much. They're not toasted that much, so that's why I'm doing it a little bit more. So as long as once they start turning slightly brown, that'll do. And what we're going to do is we're then going to chop them up. I'll probably drop these all over the place, so you know. Go ahead and laugh if you want to.
While you're doing that, Azlin, Yvonne Rivera says, "Hi, Azlin. Quick question: can you make these with tofu or tempeh? That is the meat. Yeah.
Yeah. I do always try and cater to vegetarians and vegans because I've got lots of vegetarian friends. And although not needless to say, it's not traditional. Traditional meat for satay is chicken, beef, lamb, and pork. You know, that's what satay is. So I'm just sending them over, okay? But you know, tempeh should be pretty good. Although tempeh in itself is a pretty strong tasting. What is tempeh?
I have no idea. What is tempeh?
What tempeh?
I am a meat mouth, so I wouldn't know what that is.
Tempeh is fermented soybeans packed up into cakes. I was just wondering
Isn't that tofu?
No.
Isn't that tofu? What's the difference?
Let me finish already. Fermented soybeans packed up in a cake, and that's tempeh. And I was just going to say, could I call it a vegetable? But it's not.
Yeah, well, it's a vegetarian alternative, I guess.
It's a vegetarian
or
alternative.
vegan alternative, which I am not. I love my meat, pork, chicken, fish.
Say that again.
I said I'm a meat mouth: pork, chicken, fish, beef.
So I make this with tofu for vegetarian friends, and for pescatarians, I make it with seafood. So we're just gonna pulse that. Is that very noisy?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and pulse it.
Now, Azlin, we do have another question coming in from Susanna, who has asked, can she replace the coconut milk with coconut oil instead of having the coconut milk and coconut oil mixed together?
A very good question. Yes, you can, but you definitely can. In fact, that's a very good idea.
Because actually, Azlin, in Thailand, when they make their satay sauce, they use coconut milk.
Yes, they do. They do. Even in Indonesia, even we do it. Even the rest of the countries, we do it. But you know, it turns it slightly creamy. But you don't want to use too much coconut milk, then it becomes too creamy.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's it. Now the satay is almost done. See how quick that is? So what I'm going to do is show you how I actually make the satay sauce. Traditionally, satay sauce requires a whole lot of cooking oil. Half a cup to a cup. That's like way too much.
That's a lot.
Despite the high fat and the high sugar everywhere else, the idea of that much oil. So what I do is, so we grind, basically what we do is we blend some onions, garlic, ginger. There we go, that's actually done. Onion, garlic, ginger, and chilies. Chilies completely up to you. What I do is, I have some homemade chili paste here. Scotch bonnet, so that it's actually very spicy. So I use this for a lot of things that requires chili paste or fresh chili. So what I do is I just add this sauce. This blended onion, garlic, ginger, and chili, and then I add the peanuts. So the traditional method is to actually put a whole lot of oil in there and then saute the paste, the onion, garlic, ginger paste. And then
I just have sorry, Lynn, I just have a question about the peanuts. I can't really see. Are they finely ground into a powder, or are there little kind of pieces still?
I'd say, of course, grind. I mean, you want to have tiny bits of peanut in there. So, you know, when you pulse it, half of it or most of it is going to be finely ground, and you still have certain pieces, and that's perfect. That's really perfect. Yeah, okay. So that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing here. And now, satay sauce. What makes the satay sauce? It's got to be spicy. Of course, you know that does depend on how much spice you can take. So it's got to be spicy, and it's got to be sweet. The whole satay flavor. You get the sweet from the satay, and you get the sweet from the sauce as well. So there's quite a lot of palm sugar in both of them. So I've got two different types of palm sugar. That's the soft version, and that's just the, it looks almost like brown sugar, demerara sugar. So watch this. Quite a lot of sugar going in. My granny used to put white sugar, caster sugar in there as well. And I do that too, because I find that too much brown sugar just makes it a little bit too sickly. It turns to caramelly, if that's such a word. Have you got any other questions or comments coming?
Yeah.
Yes, we do, from June. She mentioned that you add a little bit of red curry paste to her satay sauce to give it a little bit of heat. Do you have any other recommendations of stuff you could add to your satay sauce to give it a little bit of a heat kick? Yes.
Chili is a standard ingredient in satay sauce, but in Thailand, that's what they do. In Thailand, they use red curry paste for the heat and the the traditional Thai flavor, I guess, with all the galangal and the lemongrass. So once again, if you have access to galangal and lemongrass, by all means add it to the sauce. Just like
lemongrass.
That's kind of what that was. So we're just going to cook this for about 5 to 10 minutes until the sauce thickens, during which it's going to splatter everywhere. So my advice is don't wear white.
Hey, I have a question about the palm sugar. Sorry. You said you have the solid one. Now, that's the only kind that I can get here, and I never can figure out how to use it without melt, because I get it in a big lump. Do you whack it with a hammer? Do you use a screwdriver? How do you get it into pieces?
Grate it. You grate it.
Grate it.
Grate it. Yeah.
It's so easy. Why did I never think of that?
Use a grater. Yeah, grate it. So there you go. So that's the sauce thickened up.
I'll put my hammer away then.
Yeah. Put that mallet away.
So we have some very good conversation going on about sugar right now with related to it. Is there, first of all, can you use other types of sugar without any issues, such as brown or white sugar, besides the palm sugar, or does it have to be specifically that type of sugar?
Well, can you use other type of sugar if you don't have palm sugar and white sugar?
Any alternative. Tina's having a conversation about palm sugar. She wants to know if that's the type of correct type of sugar.
White sugar. Okay, lots of people ask me, what is the alternative for palm sugar when cooking Southeast Asian dishes? Because quite a few people think that because there is a caramel taste to the palm sugar, that the obvious alternative would be brown sugar or molasses even. But I think those just take the flavor in a completely different direction.
They do.
My personal preference is plain white sugar as a replacement for palm sugar. In Southeast Asia, we have a particular type of sugar called gula melaka. That's in Malay, gula melaka, and that's like molasses. Now that you then of course substitute it with molasses or dark brown sugar if you find that in a recipe for Southeast Asian dessert. Then you can use that. Now satay's in there, it's all done. I'm going to bring it out in a minute, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something bonus. Okay, a bonus. I'm going to show you how we use banana leaves, only because I'm using it for something. This is a banana leaf, okay, pretty hard, and if you try and roll it or fold it, you're going to tear it. So this is how we soften banana leaf. I'm just going to cut it up a little bit. Do you guys get banana leaf easily, panelists? You do, Larry.
I have a banana tree in my yard.
So you have an open flame.
Yeah.
Open flame, and you're just going to hold it over the open flame. Now you could also soak your banana leaves in very, very hot water. But to me, this is the quickest way. Now what then you get is the banana leaf turns from a matte green to a glossy. Can you see that? Yeah, to a glossy.
Yeah.
That's the difference. So that's whatever softened, and that's the glossy bit is the softened bit. Then it becomes pliable, and you can then roll it and fold it without the banana leaf actually tearing out.
That is interesting. I have to go and raid my friend's garden.
I usually cook my fish in banana leaves when I put it in the oven. I soften it up like Azlin showed, and put it into the oven and bake my fish in there. And it comes out, it holds the moisture. It really holds the moisture in the fish.
And the flavor.
And the flavor. Yeah, it gives it a nice flavor. Yeah.
Banana leaves are sweet. Okay, so here we go. Nicely charred. All right. Probably slightly overdone because I left it in there, but it's okay. It's a live show.
It's a live show. I wish I had something to eat right now.
That looks fantastic.
That looks great, Azlin. That looks great.
Anyway, so I'm going to serve it up now and show you how we actually eat it. I'm sure there were lots of things in my head that I wanted to tell you, but you know, on a live show I can never remember everything. So I'll remember it after we go off air. Now,
yeah, you can always post it in the event.
Some of you may know that it's Ramadan, the holy month of fasting for Muslims around the world. Now, Singapore has a Muslim population. In fact, in Singapore, Islam is an official religion in that, sure, everybody recognizes it. Australia recognizes it. You know, everybody recognizes it. But in Singapore, Malaysia, Brunei, Islam, basically the religious festivals of the Muslims, the Chinese, the Christians, and the Hindus are all public holidays. So we observe them. They're public holidays. So anyway, it's
you get a lot of public holidays. That's great.
Yeah, but we don't have silly things like Maybank holiday and that sort of stuff, you know. So,
we do.
So satay is popular all year round, of course, but during the fasting month, it becomes especially popular because lots of Muslims, which will be the Malays, the South Indian Muslims, the Arabs, the Pakistanis, the Bengalis, these are all Singaporean Muslims. You know, it's very, very common for them to finish off work, go off to a hawker center, grab some satay and other things and take it back to break their fast with, which is called iftar, general knowledge. So there we go. So that's your satay all done, and we've got the satay sauce there. Actually, I'll put it there so you can see what I'm doing now. And then you have some freshly cut onions, okay, and we have some cucumber. Now the cucumber is cut as wedges. So this, I don't know why, but that's how we do it. When you
actually, Azlin, that's how they do it here too, in Trinidad. But surprisingly, the onions go well with the cucumber, and everything ties in. Yeah, everything ties in well with the sauce. Definitely.
And satay sauce, right? The onions are amazing with the satay sauce.
It does. Now, another sauce they use here, being that is from the tropics, they use pineapple as a base instead of peanut. They use pineapple as a base. They would add some peanut, not much, just to give that back home taste. But pineapple, they use pineapple as they build the sauce on a pineapple base.
Interesting,
that would be good.
And it's very tasty.
Because an alternative is with the peanut sauce, quite a few people add a little bit of pineapple puree on the top, of the sauce.
How do they?
The final thing that we serve it with. This is, I'm going to come there because for the third time I'm apologizing for the lack of a top camera. There we go. Can you see that?
Wow.
I'm just going to unroll it, okay? I shall try to unroll it here so you can see what I'm doing. This is rice that's been wrapped up in banana leaves and then cooked. So this is
And how did you cook it? Did you steam it?
Rice cake. I'll just show you that. So this is I'll tell you how to cook, and I'll put it up on my blog in the next couple of days. This is called lontong, Lontong, and once again, something that's very popular to be eaten with satay. But another thing that we also eat, another version of rice cakes, is called ketupat, Ketupat, and the rice is cooked in packets of coconut leaves, coconut fronds that have been weaved together to form a cubic bag, and the rice is then put in there. So what we do is, I like using pudding rice for this. So what we do is, we roll the banana leaves up, we put the rice in there raw, uncooked rice, to about, say, half, and then we seal it properly. So I always follow it up right at the end with foil because it always falls apart. And so I cover it with foil. The rice doesn't escape. So there we go. So what we do is we just cut it up in slices.
Oh, so it stays in slices. Hey, that's really neat.
So this is an accompaniment, a traditional accompaniment to satay in Singapore, Malaysia, Brunei, and Indonesia.
I assume you eat everything with your fingers, right? I mean with your hands.
No. So what you do is, the satay is here, so you're going to dip it in there.
Yeah.
This is the person who just had a root canal done 2 days ago.
Bite it.
No? So, go to
I wish I had some.
Get some onion. Okay, all right, I'll just dip the onion in there. No need for fingers.
Lovely.
Cucumber, and then a little bit of rice. There we go.
Oh, wow. That's very cool.
Great job. Nice job.
So simple to make.
Great.
Excellent.
Yay. All right. Well, Azlin, as always, you've done a fantastic job, live and in person. Doesn't get any better than that. So, I would like to thank everyone who joined us, especially the folks out on the chat. That's Yvonne, Sam Cho, Christopher Vogelman, the crazy guy, Sunny Cadwalder just joined us, June Darville. She has. Oh yeah, that looks good.
Hold that up there, Azlin. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, let me get a
we
camera
go,
shot of that. Let me get a camera shot of that.
That looks
Great.
fantastic.
Hold it up, hold it up, hold it up, hold it up. Okay, nice.
Wow.
Hold it up and back a little bit.
And stay there for 3 hours.
Right,
Perfect.
yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Nice, lovely. So,
Okay.
yeah, so
Yes.
thank everyone. And Azlin, you want to take us out?
Yes. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Oh, pretty good time-wise. Thanks for joining us once again, and thanks to Michelle, Lisa, and Andrew, and John for doing the technical stuff, and Larry, you, of course. You know, we're such a winning combination, you and I. Next week, I'll be back on Savor the Flavor as usual on Sunday, an hour early because the World Cup final is.
Hey.
Ah.
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, I'm going to watch the match right after this game between
Netherlands,
Netherlands and who's the other team?
Croatia, I
Oh,
believe.
Croatia.
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica,
That's
right.
right.
Yeah, guys right up the street from me.
Yeah, we don't care anymore. France is out, so there's no point.
Okay. All right. So, goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye, Azlin. Bye, Harry. Bye, folks.
Alrighty. Thank you, everybody, joining us for another episode of Simply Singapore with your chef, Azlin Bloor. We'll see you again next time.